Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a team of veteran House Democrats is sounding the alarm on recent military action in Venezuela, saying they know firsthand the dangers of starting a new conflict. And the trial continues for a former school officer.
And upper 60s and low 70s in the forecast in January? Yeah, I'll tell you when coming up.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm McKinley Calandrino. Days after American forces struck the capital of Venezuela, arresting the country's president and taking him back to the U.S. to face charges. A team of veteran Democratic House members is speaking out, warning history has a tendency to repeat itself. Washington correspondent Katrin Asaf says she has more on the message.
Veteran lawmakers held this press conference just minutes after leaving a hearing about what exactly happened in Venezuela, saying the issue is twofold. President Trump should not have acted without congressional approval, and we shouldn't be getting involved in Venezuela in the first place.
We know firsthand that wars are easy to start and extraordinarily hard to finish.
A firm warning from an Iraq war veteran, one of a dozen Democratic lawmakers who all served their country, now working to serve Americans once more.
Congress, Democrats and Republicans, should grow a spine, look at the Constitution and Article 1 that rests those war powers with us and the American people, not a president.
Days after a coordinated American effort saw strikes in Venezuela and the arrest of its president, Democratic House members are sounding the alarm, firmly opposing any further military action without the approval of Congress in Venezuela and beyond. The strong message comes minutes after House members heard from top Trump administration officials on what happened during the attack, claiming not only were their questions not answered, the focus on foreign affairs takes away from what they feel should be the main topic of 2026, affordability and health care.
We should be rebuilding America, not rebuilding Venezuela.
The Trump administration and congressional Republicans have defended the action as a priority for American security, with Congress being left in the dark due to safety concerns with the mission. But for those who have experienced war firsthand, including members serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, they say they've seen this all before and know how it ends.
We had almost these exact same conversations. We learned this history. Let's not repeat this history again.
In Washington, I'm Katrin Asaf.
An ICE officer shot and killed a woman this morning in Minnesota. That according to the Department of Homeland Security's Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. Federal and local enforcement in Minneapolis have reportedly been clashing for hours with protesters. An official with DHS claims the victim was one of those violent rioters who attempted to use her vehicle as a weapon in an effort to run over law enforcement. Back here in Kentucky, one person is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Nelson County. A spokesperson with state police says the Nelson County Sheriff's Office was caught up in a shooting that took place in the Shell gas station in Bardstown. No other details about the shooting have been provided so far. Large amounts of fentanyl, multiple guns, and a significant amount of cash. That is what Huntington police in West Virginia found after executing 3 search warrants yesterday. Nigel Coates, Wesley Cornish, and Xander Byram were arrested. The Huntington Violent Crime Drug Task Force executed search warrants throughout multiple areas in the city. Coates, Cornish, and Byram were all arraigned and are all in Western Regional Jail. A meeting in Ashland tomorrow night is allowing Kentucky Power customers to weigh in on a proposed rate hike. The proposed hike would raise by 14.9% for residential customers. The Public Service Commission has been hosting public comment meetings to allow customers to voice their opinions. The next and final meeting will be tomorrow, January 8th at the Ashland Transportation Center. That meeting will start at 5 p.m. State lawmakers in Tennessee are considering a pilot program to outfit prison guards with body cameras. The pilot program would focus on the state's largest and most critiqued prison, Truesdale Turner. The correctional center is under federal investigation for reported staffing shortages, prisoner abuse, sexual assaults, and murder. A group of bipartisan senators and the Truesdale County District Attorney is pushing for body cameras.
When the inmates get knowledge that this technology is being used, the incidents will drop dramatically as far as what we see in the jail.
The cost for the body cameras is around $350,000, which Core Civic said it would pay, but the state would be responsible for paying for all other infrastructure and staff needed to review the video, which the DOC estimates could be about $2 to $3 million a year. The weather so far for the first week of 2026 has been anything but winter, but many folks in our viewing area are experiencing temperatures that are above average for this time of year. Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean to see what we can expect for the rest of this week. Eric.
Well, McKinley, the short answer is this. We will see temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, some places very close to 70 as we go into the second half of the work week. Now let's focus our attention on Friday, where a marginal risk or level 1 out of 5 is in play for Wayne County, Kentucky, portions of Pulaski County, portions of McCreary County. Then the farther west you go, the majority of the Commonwealth, slight risk for severe weather or level 2 out of 5 just south of Nashville, something we're going to keep an eye on very close as Friday inches closer to the 10-day. Right now, all is quiet on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Temperatures right now, not bad. Upper 50s and low 60s, upper 40s near Grundy. If you have plans for tonight, we'll see temperatures in the upper 40s by 10 o'clock, low 40s by 6 a.m. So when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 30s and 40s will greet you. We'll stay partly cloudy to mostly clear with a light easterly wind. As we help you plan your Thursday, we'll start the day off with a mixture of sun and clouds, but that cloud deck will thicken as we go into the afternoon hours. Highs on Thursday making a run for the mid to upper 60s. But there is a change somewhere on the 10-day that consists of cooler temperature and maybe a little bit of a wintry mix. Details of the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. McKinley.
All right, thank you, Eric. A trial for a former Texas school police officer continues. Adrian Gonzalez was accused of not doing enough to stop a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, nearly 4 years ago. The shooter took the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers. Gonzalez has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, including 29 counts of child abandonment or endangerment. Some of the victims' families were watching the trial, and they say they hope this is just the start of a long road to justice. And we learned a short time ago that a judge denied a mistrial motion in the case. New dietary guidelines were released by the Trump administration on Wednesday, aimed after making America healthy again. WYMT White House correspondent John Decker has the story.
Following through on the administration's pledge to make America healthy again, the Trump administration announced new guidelines on Wednesday that could impact what millions of students all across the country eat for lunch. The federal nutrition recommendations unveiled Wednesday urge Americans to eat more protein, more whole grains, less sugar, and avoid highly processed foods.
This crisis is unacceptable.
At a White House press briefing, I asked Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins about how the dietary guidelines could impact lunches served at public schools.
Secretary Rollins, I'm curious about with these guidelines. They're not mandates, they're guidelines. What are the practical effects of these guidelines on public schools all across the country?
Today begins the first day now in a recalibration of the rules, whether it's school lunches, whether it's the SNAP program, whether it's as veterans were mentioned, our prison system, that now we begin the process of implementing and redrafting the rules to reflect what this new dietary guidelines for Americans actually is doing to our food system. So there is a lot of work to do. Nothing changes overnight.
In fact, the new guidelines will be phased into school lunches over the next 2 years. Separately, I also asked Secretary Rollins about the actual cost of eating healthy.
Secretary Rollins, cost, when you had your remarks a little bit earlier, is eating healthier more cost effective? Is it cheaper than, just having a diet of processed foods?
Yes, indeed, that eating healthy for the most part, we've got 100 simulations, is actually less expensive. The challenge comes is the access to those healthy foods, especially in parts of America where they have food deserts.
The guidelines, which will also impact what service members eat on military bases, come amid soaring rates of obesity all across the country. At the White House, I'm John Decker.
There will be more about this on the CBS Evening News coming up at 6:30. President Trump says he plans to ban large investors from buying up more single-family homes. In a social media post today, Trump stated he is taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying up single-family properties and calling on Congress to codify it. Investors like Blackstone, JP Morgan Chase, and other banks and investment firms have increasingly snapped up family homes in recent years, eyeing rising returns on home prices. There has been some attention on Greenland lately after President Trump is once again saying the country needs to be a part of the U.S. That brought up the question of would the U.S. use military forces to take over the country? Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson said he does not think that is appropriate, but some GOP lawmakers seem to lean toward the idea of buying the territory. President Trump has insisted the U.S. needs Greenland for security reasons and that Denmark is not able to protect it. The son of filmmaker Rob Reiner has his arraignment postponed again today. Nick Reiner was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder after Michael and his wife Michelle were found stabbed to death in their home last month. Reiner's attorney Alan Jackson withdrew from the case. The arraignment was rescheduled for February 23rd, and if convicted, Reiner could face a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, one film and entertainment company rejects a takeover bid from a major streaming service.
And in the world of weather, shorts one day, jacket the next. I'll tell you which day is which coming up.